I've never been brave enough to tell this story, but 4 years ago, I was in a very abusive relationship with this girl that I went out with for 2 years of my life, right? Oh, sorry, 3 years, right? From 2019 to 2022. Anyway, point is, I was physically, mentally, and emotionally abused by her. When we started the relationship in 2019, she was very nice to me. You know, when you enter a relationship with anyone, you know, whether you're a man or woman or whatever, at first it's all lovey-dovey, it's nice, it's romantic, right? But as soon as the years go by, the next few years that go by, right, things start to change. Probably even less than a few years. I would even say like things started to change around, I'd say somewhere around roughly from 6 to 7 months after the relationship. After entering the relationship, I mean, sorry. Obviously, I don't feel very comfortable talking about this, but I decided to make this video because I want other men and women as well to open up and speak out on these types of things, because I know I'm not the only one that has suffered from it. And there are many other people out there that are still suffering from this cruel abuse by the hands of their partners. So obviously I'll tell you a little bit about what the relationship was like at first. The relationship was, you know, I was very infatuated with her. She was infatuated with me. I love you so much. I love you so much. And all of that, right? And, you know, it was nice at first, within the first several months in our relationship. But then after about 7 months into our relationship, she started to change. Her personality, her whole aura, everything about her became dark. And she started like pinching me, poking my nose like that aggressively. Not when I say aggressively, she was viciously doing it. Like these little things. At first I would take it as a joke, like, oh, she's only taken, you know, the piss and all of these sorts of things. But it then got to a point after about a year into the relationship, I said, oh, no, what am I doing in this relationship? What am I actually doing in this relationship, right? And I said to myself, no, I think I'm being abused. I think I'm being abused. But at the same time, I was still being in denial because I was still infatuated with her and I was still in love with her. Well, I thought I was, but I guess I was brainwashed in a way, you know? You know, like when you're a man and you fall in love with a woman, right? And you think she's your all in all and you think she's everything, right? Well, it eventually got to the point where that wasn't the case at all, you know? And I would be crying every time that she would go to a friend's house or whatever she'd get up to socially. I would literally like always come home from her place or wherever we're going, right, socially, right? I would come home crying. I mean, I would think to myself, oh my God, like, I know she's being a bit rough with me, but she's only doing that because you know, it's a joke. That's what people usually do in a relationship, right? But obviously, like I said, I was in denial about it, right? But then after about a year in the relationship, it took me about a whole year to actually realize and understand, like, this girl that I was going out with never treated me right from the get-go. She was manipulative, very calculated, and she would always wrap me around her little finger, right? And because she knew that I was so infatuated with her, like really infatuated with her, she would use that against me. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I became trapped. I mean, I had the choice to leave the relationship and leave her ass behind. But I chose not to do that, you know? Because when you're a man, even when you're going out with a woman, same thing when you're a woman, you want to go out with a man, right? You want to stick to that woman slash woman, that woman or man, right? Because you think they are better than you because they have more confidence than you. Like when you don't have the self-confidence and the self-esteem, you put your whole self-worth onto that partner that you're with, the woman or man. And God, I feel very, I don't know, like I feel very uncomfortable talking about this, but you know what? I'm 7 minutes into the video, so I might as well just continue. But after about a year and a half into the relationship, that's when I finally started to stand up to her. And I said to her, look, I'm not going to say her name, but let's just say her name was Daisy, right? Listen, Daisy, darling, babe, I'm not going to lie, but I love you so much, but I just feel like you're not treating me right. You've been pinching me, you're just so aggressive towards me, physically aggressive, not just verbally, but physically so aggressive towards me. And sometimes I would just hide the tears and hide the emotional scars that I would harbor all the time around her. I was harboring and hiding these emotions because my mind my mind was telling me that I was in love with her. I was so infatuated with her. But I realized I was brainwashed, you know, and I was coercively controlled. I was in a coercive, controlling relationship. And, you know, after about, how long were we in a relationship for? Was it about a year and a half, 2 years. So about 2 years into the relationship, I started to get really more upset with her doing the things that she did to me. And that's when I really stood up, yeah. And then she would start, you know, the more I stood up to her and the more I confronted her, right, she would make all these idle threats towards me. If you think you can stand up to me the way that you're standing up to me like that, you know what? I'm gonna call the police on you and tell you that, you know, tell the police that you R-worded me and all of those sorts of things. You know, she was threatening to tell the police that I R-worded her, but I never did that, you know? And about 2 years into a relationship, there was a time where I was at the park, right? And my local park, right? And about a year before, no, a year, it was about 6 months before we officially ended things, right? Okay, 6 months before we ended the relationship, she accused me of R-wording her. She reported me to the police for R-wording her, right? Grape, yeah? And I thought my whole life was going to be ruined. I literally thought my whole life was effed. That's what I literally thought. I thought my whole life was going to be ruined, mate. But, you know, it got to the point where, you know, she didn't press charges. She let it go because she knew she didn't have any evidence against me. You know what I'm saying? She knew she wouldn't have won against me. So I was let go, right? I was in custody for about a whole day, but it felt like I was in prison for like years, mate. So I kind of had that experience being in a jail cell, really. And it was traumatizing. And then 6 months later, we broke up. And I said to her, do you know what, Daisy, F you. You were abusing me. You were controlling me. You're the perpetrator. I'm the victim in all of this, not you. Okay? You don't get to play the victim anymore. Goodbye. See you later. And that was the whole relationship, really. So I wanted to make this really long video so that I could, you know, help other people speak out on these sorts of things, because I want people to know that you shouldn't be scared and you should not be afraid of having a voice. And if you are genuinely scared of speaking out, don't be. Don't be. If you have someone around you that you're close to, speak out, because abuse is never okay.